Hello and welcome to our mat class. Today we're going to be paying a little bit more attention, or as you probably noticed this month, we've been paying a little bit more attention to the upper body, and in particular the shoulder girdle. Now the shoulder girdle is a wonderful frame that sits above, it kind of sits around the top of your rib cage and attaches to our body via the collarbone, and the rest is just a frame that sits above the rib cage, and it's attached to the body via muscles and tendons. There's no sort of any surface that's attached apart from this one here. So if you look at this, this is your upper arm, this long bone with the ball joint, which attaches to your scapula, which is this lovely flat bone. It attaches to the scapula in this very small capsule here. And the collarbone then attaches to the scapula, which comes around to the front of your chest here. So these bones make up your shoulder girdle, and they all kind of move together to give us this incredibly big range of movement in the arms, but also, as well as giving us that ability to move our arms through such a big range, they help us to stabilize, and the muscles around them help us to stabilize the rib cage. So we can stabilize the ribs, therefore it allows us to stabilize our spine and the pelvis. So everything is connected. So if we have the muscles around the shoulder girdle helping to support the rib cage, then we're going to have hopefully achieve a more even posture and less tension in the shoulders. As soon as our shoulders or our rib cage comes out of like a stacked position with the pelvis, for example, this anterior tilt, can you see how in that case, if my shoulder girdle sits on top, if my rib cage comes forward, how everything is rotated forward. And then we've got gravity pulling everything down. And this makes moving the shoulder quite difficult. So let's explore those wonderful bones in your body. We're going to take our right hand. We're going to place it in the middle of our chest, just above on the sternum. And we're going to follow the hand or the collarbone with your fingers along the length of your collarbone until you reach the acromion process. It's like a flat bone at the top of the shoulder. We've been here before. And then if you go from there towards the middle of your back, you'll find another bone. This is the spine of your scapula. This is the top of your scapula, lots of muscles attaching around. If you go inside and squidging there, you might feel some muscles that give you a little bit of feedback. We're going to talk about the muscles in due course, but there we've got the bones. If you come back to the top and go underneath that little flat bone there, you'll feel the top of your shoulder joint where the ball joint of the arm sits in there. So let's just give it a little tap around that area with the fist, around the top, around the back, down the arm. And then just pause and just see how your shoulders feel, even with that bit of touch and tapping. Maybe the two sides feel a little bit different in where they're positioned, the length of the arm and tension levels. You may notice something different. We're now going to release the shoulder. So we're going to place the hand where the middle of where your sternum is, where your collarbone meets the body. And then we're going to bend the body to the side so that we can imagine that our arm starts here, down the collarbone, down the long arm bones to the hand. And I want you to swing your arm as if it begins at your collarbone or at your sternum. So let the arm swing from the sternum. And then we're going to pause, and you're going to just shake the arm there. And then from your sternum, you're going to lift your body up and come to the middle. And then again, compare the sides. How does the side that we've released, moved, touched, stimulated, compared to the side that's probably feeling a little bit left out at the moment? How does it feel? So now we're going to affect one of the muscles that are really kind of typically tense in our posture. When the muscle does this action, it kind of pulls the acromion up towards our ears. So it pulls the shoulder girdle up and in. And this is the top of your trapezius. This is a muscle, a big muscle in the back. It's divided in, we can think of it being divided in a top triangle and a bottom triangle. So it's like a diamond. The top triangle lifts the shoulders and the bottom triangle lowers the shoulders. So we tend to find that the top triangle is a lot stronger and active than the bottom triangle. So we want to try to help that by releasing the tension in this one. So if you take your right hand and place your thumb against the neck, and if you then just grab, you can almost imagine, you could feel that big chunk of muscle, and it comes down from the neck. It comes down, attaches to the spine of your scapula, that big bone that's at the back, and it also attaches to the first third of your collarbone. Yeah, so it attaches down the neck, all the way along the spine of your scapula, across onto the collarbone, and here. So it attaches all along this bone, the collarbone, and then the spine of your scapula, that bone there. So it comes down from the neck there. So you can imagine this big hit. Now, I want you to take it in your hands. And I want you to imagine that this is a big sponge. And we want to squeeze the sponge. And when we squeeze the sponge, you can almost imagine the water releasing, the tension releasing. I want you to breathe. Roll your shoulder as you do this. So you move the shoulder. And just feel how every time you squeeze the muscle, it softens. It softens. And some of us have quite a lot of tension. So we need to keep just squeezing it like a sponge. Breathe. Roll the shoulder. Squeezing out the water, nice hot water on this horrible wet day. Think of warm, soapy water, and even the smell of the water. Beautiful kind of aromatherapy, or whatever your favorite smells are. Squeeze. And just feel that tension just running away from that muscle, down the back, down the arm. And then just release there. Now, compare the size of your shoulders. How do they feel different? And why not try and move one shoulder, lifting it, swinging it, compared to how the other side feels? And remember, we want these bones to have as much movement as possible, the joints to have as much movement as possible. Good. Mine feels very different. And then we're going to do the other side. So I place my hand on my sternum and I follow the collarbone, and I want to find that collarbone. Feel it, touch it, be aware of the shape of it. It's a beautiful kind of S shape, and it goes all the way to the outside of the shoulder. And when you're on the shoulder there, just touch around, feel, be curious. What's this? What's this? And then touch around the back of your shoulder blade along the spine, because all these little bones, they have our muscles attached to them. And you can go around. You're probably now, where you're familiar with the trapezius now on the other side, you're probably feeling, oh yeah, a bit of tension in there. Certainly I'm feeling that. And then come down to the arm and just touch around the ball socket. Yeah, is there tender spots? How does it feel in your body as you just touch that area? And then we're going to come back to the center part where the arm attaches to the body. And we're going to let the arm hang as we send our body to the side. And we're going to swing from our sternum. So imagine the arm starts at your sternum. Swing in the arm, good. Make sure you're breathing. And imagine the arm is a heavy rope. So we're not trying to hold the arm. Can you see the difference? This is me swinging from my shoulder. And this is me swinging from my sternum. Yeah, I need to move my rib cage. And then my shoulder girdle is just sitting on the rib cage. And so it's like, yeah, it's just suspending. And then let the arm hang and just give it a little shake. And then we can lift from the sternum up to the center. And starting to feel a little less neglected already. So feel the arms, how they hang by your side. How do your shoulders feel? How do you breathe right now? How's the breath feeling? And then we're going to take the left hand, place it. The thumb can go against the side of the neck. And then you're just going to take your hand and you're going to take hold of that trapezius. Remember, it starts up in the back of the neck. It comes down. It attaches to the collarbone and to the spine of your scapula. And what it does is it pulls the shoulder up. So as you lift the shoulder, you can really grab that muscle. Squeeze it like a sponge and then release. You can squeeze it like a sponge. And as you squeeze, you'll feel the muscle starting to soften. The tension just oozing out. Breathe as you move. And remember, tension doesn't mean that the muscle is strong. The tension means the muscle is held. And for us to make a muscle strong, we need to shorten it and we need to lengthen it. Okay, let's take that away and compare. I could do with someone's really strong hand in that shoulder. Good, and breathe. And just notice or visualize that frame sitting on your rib cage. And start to realize, actually, it's my rib cage. Yeah, my rib cage needs to be supported. Oh, that's my trunk supports my rib cage to allow my shoulders to relax. If this isn't stable, we tend to try and hold ourselves with our shoulders. So breathe deep into your belly. Let your shoulders rest down. And I've got one more practice for the shoulders I'd like us to do together now. And that involves standing before we start our movement practice. So if we place the stools to one side, come up to standing. And this is shoulders being supported by the ground. So I want you to find the ground underneath your feet. And I want you to just stand as you feel comfortable in your body. So you feel balanced, you feel relaxed. And just bring a couple of breaths in, just as deep as you can. So sometimes it's nice just to have your hands gently placed on the tummy so we can somewhere to guide our breath to. Feel the softness in your jaw and in your facial muscles. Okay. So please bring your attention to the soles of your feet. And I want you to notice how the ground supports your feet. And then bring your attention up to your ankles and to your lower legs. And notice how your lower legs are supported by your feet. And then coming up past your knees and to your thighs, notice how your thighs can be supported by your lower leg. And then working up your thighs to the hips and to your pelvis. Notice how your pelvis can be supported by your thighs. From your pelvis, we move round into the spine. And notice how your spine can be supported by your pelvis. As we come up the spine, we meet the rib cage. Notice how your rib cage is supported by your spine. And as you come round, and you can use your hands on your body just to touch these areas. As you come from the ribs, you meet your sternum. And notice how the sternum is supported by the rib cage. From your sternum, we notice your collarbone. And allow your collarbones to be supported by your sternum. If you go to the outside of your collarbone, we meet the scapula. And notice how the scapula suspends off your collarbone, down your back. And then notice when we meet the arms, how your arm bones suspend from the scapula. So indirectly, your arms are supported by your feet against the ground. We're going to do it in reverse. So notice how your arms suspend from your shoulder blade. Your shoulder blade suspends from your collarbone. Your collarbone is supported by your sternum. Your sternum is supported by your rib cage. Your rib cage is supported by your spine. Your spine is supported by your pelvis. Your pelvis is supported by your thighs. Your thighs are supported by your lower legs. Your lower legs are supported by your feet. And your feet are supported by the ground. So indirectly, your shoulders are supported by the ground. Breathe some deep breaths in. And release the breath out. And feel how your arms suspend to the side. Feel how your scapula suspend down the back. Feel how your tailbone suspends off your pelvis. And how the support comes from your feet, your lower leg, your thighs, your pelvis, your spine, your ribs. And we're going to spiral from here. We're going to keep our body fairly still. And I want you to turn your arm bones in the socket and turn your palms out. Your arms turn in. And then your arms turn out. Good. Arms turn in. And the arms spiral out. Arms spiral in. And they spiral out. Take them up in front of you. And again, spiral your arms out. spiral your arms in. Rotate them out. Rotate them in. One more time. Rotate them out and rotate them in. Take your arms out to the side. And can you visualize your rib cage extending across the body from your collarbone, the arms extending into the space at the side of you, and the arms spiral in, and the arms spiral out. The arms spiral in, and the arms spiral out. Two more. Spiral the arms in, spiral the arms out. Last one. Spiral in and spiral out. Bring the arms to your side. Lift your shoulders up to your ears. Imagine your collarbone lifting, your shoulder blade lifting, your arms coming with them. And then lower them down, reaching across the collarbones, down with the shoulder blades. And again, draw them up, lifting your collarbones, lifting your shoulder blades, letting the arms come with them. And then draw your shoulder blades down, your collarbones widening. And pause. Now, as we spiral the hands, we're going to start to lift and open into the front of the body. And again, think of your wingspan from your collarbone down to your middle finger, spreading and keeping as much space in the front of your arm line as you can. And then draw down and soften. And then we're going to fold into the back. And feel how your shoulder blades come out across the back as your arms spiral in. As you come forwards, we spread through the collarbones to the middle finger, reaching, opening, extending. And then we soften, bringing the arms in and moving your shoulder blades wide across the back. And think about your little ribs going back towards the back of the room. And then spiraling forwards, coming up, lifting, opening, extending. Can you bring the arm above you? And then bring your shoulder blades wide, but send your ribs back here. So we're just getting this wonderful stability through the back of the body. And then stand in the legs. Coming up, open, inhale, palms together. Exhale, lean your ribs back and let your shoulder blades glide forward. Feel the expansion of your collarbones from your sternum to your middle finger as you lift, keeping wide. And then as we come down, send your ribs back and soften. Find your legs stand. Let your shoulders be supported by the ground. Then bring your right hand across the body. We're going to rotate. We're going to allow the right shoulder blade to come round. Rotate the arm. Bring your ribs back. And push through the heel of the hand down. So rotate or spiral through the ribs. Let the arm come up and back. Heel of the hand pushing away and down. Beautiful. And again, spiraling round. Turn, your pelvis comes back. Your ribs and your shoulder comes with you. Then you lean, reaching, pushing the heel of the hand away and down. Beautiful work. One more time. Across into the side body. Now lean, from your ribs, reach with your shoulder blades and come down. Let's bring both hands up through the center. So I move my ribs backwards into the space. Sorry, I'm just going to take my jumper off. We're going to move. So both hands are going to come up. The fingertips come together. I'm going to send my ribs back and let my shoulder blades come wide as the arms come up. And as the arms start to lift, my ribs come forward and I lift. I open. And again, I want to extend across my body here. And it's like I'm trying to push the room away from each wall. I'm pushing away. Yeah, nice and strong, nice and wide. And then I come back and I scoop, bring my shoulder blades wide and my ribs back. As I come up through the middle, I start to bring my floating ribs forward, my sternum, and then I open and push away again. One more time. Rock back and a nice little scoop, a nice frame from your collarbones round into your fingertips. Come up through the center. Then lift, open, and pause here. Bring your hands to a fist. And I want your upper arm to come behind your body. But I don't want you to just throw everything forward. Try and keep stable and just let the arm bone go back. We're open across the collarbones, but we're still broad across the scapula. Then I want you to turn your hands, spread your fingers, and then we're going to push and we're going to lean. My ribs go back and my shoulder blades widen. But I kind of still standing on my feet. Good. Then pull the arms in and across the chest. Good. And push. There's your out breath. Pull. That's your in breath. Push is your out breath. Pull and you're in. Breathing. 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 Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. One arm at a time. So my right arm goes forwards, my left arm back, and I push. Then I bring my left hand forward, push. Bring my right arm back, pull. Bring my left arm back, pull. Left arm, push. Right arm, push. Left arm, pull. Right arm, pull. Right arm, push. Left arm, push. Right arm, pull. Left arm, pull. And push, push. Pull, pull, push, push, pull, pull, push, push, pull, pull. Reach from your shoulder blade. Reach from your shoulder blade. Pull and arms down. Keep your shoulder blades sitting wide across the back ribs as you bring your chin down. Try not to lift the shoulders up. Yeah, keep this nice and open, chin to chest, and roll yourself down. And when you get there at the bottom, you can almost imagine you've got a rope. Someone's got a rope around your tummy, and it's trying to kind of support you there, just like hang in there. And so you can now just let your body hang, let your arms hang, let your head hang. Let gravity allow you to create space and release in the shoulders. And we're going to just spin around. Beautiful breath work. Relax jaw, relax shoulders. And a little swing, however fast or slow you feel your body needs. There's no right or wrong. And then just pause to the center. Let your hands find the ground. If that means bending your knees, that's fine. And you're just going to bend your right knee and just lean into your left rib. So just shifting across. Then straighten and shift into the right side. And straighten. Bend the right knee and lean into that left side. Bend the left knee, lean into the right side. And center. Bend the right knee, and then just let your arm open out to the side. Once you feel like your arm has gone as far as your joint is comfortable, turn your ribs, turn your ribs, turn your ribs, and then look up at the hand. Now, feel that expansion again from your collarbone, like your arm is being pulled up to the ceiling to give you this sense of openness across the front of your chest. Then circle the arm back past your pelvis, come round and straighten the right knee. Same to the left, we're going to bend the left knee, the right arm opens up to the side. Once it's gone as far as you can, we then need to think, okay, I now need to move my ribs. And I turn my ribs. And then I want to expand like someone's pulling the arm. So my shoulder girdle is kind of just sort of got a space between the shoulder girdle and your ribs. It's not collapsing on your ribs. Create that space. And then bring the arm back. Let it circle past your pelvis and center. Then the right knee and open up the left arm. Rotate your ribs and reach across the front of your body. Circle the arm back and down, center. And again, left knee bends. Let the arm lift and then turn your ribs and lift and reach. And then come back with the arm and back to center. From here, can you just rock back to your heels? Bend your knees and then lift your chest. And then straighten. And then you're going to push down through your feet and you're going to widen. And I want you to feel like you've got some weight in your hands as you send your ribs into the back. So they shift back and give you this wonderful sense of widening into the back. Then bend and coming forward. And then hands down and widening and leaning into the back. Let the jaw relax. Then bend and lift. And then round and wide. From here, imagine that rope that's around your belly, pulling you up, pull you up. You stay relaxed, there's no tension. Don't lift from your arms, lift from your center. Then let your ribs find a space over your pelvis. Then the shoulder girdle rests. And you allow your shoulders to be supported by the ground. Take both your hands up. Link your fingers and place them behind your head. Wrap your elbows around. So when the arms come up, there's a little bit of lift here, but the shoulder blades sort of do this rotational movement. So as the arms come up, we let the shoulder blades widen across the back. We're linking our fingers. And again, I want you to imagine that these are being pulled across. So we're not kind of crunching into the ribs. We want this amazing space. The more space we have, the more movement we have, the more potential we have for movement. So from here, let's wrap the arms around and just visualize and feel how your shoulder blades will move wide across the back, but just let your ribs start to go back here. Yep. Send your ribs back and your shoulder blades forward. And then just gaze down to your navel. See how I'm not doing this? It's more about my ribs going back, my shoulder blades forward. And then I'm going to lift my elbows and I'm going to extend, but I'm still having my shoulder blades there, just behind my ribs here, going, I've got you, I support you, and I want you to go forward now. And then as I come back center, I then send my ribs back and let my shoulder blades come round my rib cage. And then I lift my elbows and come up. So we're in extension. Good. Now, turn to the diagonal and then send your ribs back and your elbows, like someone's pulling your elbows forward. Then take your right hand or the front hand off, and I want you to push like you're trying to send your shoulder blade even more round the ribs, but you're saying, hang on, I need to go back here. So we get this almost a standoff, a reluctance to move. That's stability. Then we turn our body, bring your right hip back, your shoulder, and you come into your side bend. Place the hands behind the head, and then you're going to lift from your sternum to bring yourself up. Wrap the arms round. Lift the elbows up. Then rotate to the right. We then get a little knee bend. The pelvis rotates back, so the ribs can then move back, but my elbows are trying to reach forward. Send the left hand off, and like there's a big heavy brick you're trying to push away from you, but you keep reaching with the shoulder blade, but sending your ribs back. So you get this stability. Then you bring your left hip back in line, then your shoulder, then your sternum to the front. Bring your hand behind your head. And then you're going to lift from your sternum up. Reach the arms up and bring your hands to your side. We're going to roll down through the spine. And we're going to come on to our hands and knees. So rolling forward. And there's two muscles I'd like to really sort of think about here. One is the rhomboid. It sits between your shoulder blades and the spine. And when that muscle is contracting, it brings your shoulder blades in towards your back. And when that muscle is stretching, it moves out, the shoulder blades move away. So when it's contracting, it comes in. If you do this with me, and when it's stretching, the shoulder blades move apart. When the rhomboids contract, they bring your shoulder blades together. And when they stretch, they move the shoulder blades apart. Now, can you feel how when your shoulder blades are apart and the rhomboids are stretched, how much stability you have across your back? If we don't go halfway between the two, where we're not, they're not fully stretched, can you feel how your ribs just feel a little bit like less supported? If we widen the shoulder blades, lifting into the armpits, and imagine that muscle kind of like a strap across the back, then we give ourselves a feeling of support. So if you think of the rhomboids, you've also got another muscle that it works with, and that's your serratus anterior, and it sits here. Okay, it's like if you're on your hands and knees, it's like somebody just bringing their hands from behind you and holding your rib cage like this. So when you're in this position, When my shoulder blades come together, my rhomboids are contracting, my serratus has to lengthen. Yeah, it has to lengthen. And when I want to stretch my rhomboids, my serratus shortens and brings my ribs back in towards my scapula. So those two muscles are a team. As one contracts, the other lengthens. And as one contracts, the other lengthens. So let's just get on to the hands and knees. And we're just going to play around with that suggestion in your body. So as we bring our shoulder blades together, the lower ribs are here, or the ribs here, will have to go closer to the mat. That's your serratus stretching, lengthening. Imagine it like someone's going, yeah, lower down. If you had a band around your ribs, it's going, yeah, that band has to stretch to let your serratus go down. But now I want to push my shoulder blades apart. So I'm stretching my rhomboids, but now my ribs have to come up. And that's there. And then I let them come in and my ribs down, the shoulder blades wide and my ribs up. So we've got these muscles work in pairs. Yeah, so shoulder blades together, ribs, or the serratus lengthens, rhomboids widen and serratus contracts. Rhomboids contract, serratus lengthens, rhomboids stretch and serratus contracts. And that's how we can really sort of create controlled and stable movement in the ribs. So let's find a place where we feel that the rhomboids are at length and the serratus is contracting to support the ribs. Yeah, as of this position, as opposed to this position. You see a difference. My serratus contracts and I let my rhomboids widen. Good. Then we can got stability for us to then slide one leg away. But we want to keep our focus on those scapula being wide and the serratus supporting the ribs. Then we lift the leg up. Keep your serratus supporting your ribs and your width across your rhomboids or the shoulder blades. Then bring the leg down and under. So I only want you to lift your leg as far as you can without your ribs dropping forward like this. Yeah, so you support it and think about the width of your shoulder blades. So the rhomboids are stretching across the back. Imagine I'm pulling your leg away from you as well. So you've got a nice space around your hip joint as you lift it. And then bring it in and down. Slide the leg away. And now you're going to hold the leg up and you're going to lift it 10 times. You're going to breathe and you're going to keep the width across your upper back. You're going to keep the connection with your serratus and the ribs don't drop forward. And you're going to breathe. Relax your jaw. 3, 2, and 1. Can you bend the knee for me? Flex your foot. And then again, keeping that stability through your upper body, press the leg up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Bring the leg down. So round your back and sit back on your heels, just coming off your wrist for a moment. And again, so that's an example of how we use stability, those muscles to stabilize the upper body so we can work better through the lower limbs. Yeah, so stable upper body gives us better control over the way that we move our legs. So nice hip extension there. Let's do the other side. Coming back and think about, let's just do a little bit of so we're going to let the shoulder blades come together and the serratus lengthen. Yep, and that's okay to go there, but it's not very stable. Yeah, because we're kind of the ribs the ribs aren't supported, and that's where we need the support because of gravity. So if I go, okay, I want my shoulders to go wide and my ribs to just be supported by, again, that little pair of hands just coming up underneath the rib cage, you can support them there. We don't want this bone to come up closer to our ear. So remember your shoulder girdle, that point on the outside, the acromion stays away from your ears. We don't want them collapsing up. We want as much space as possible. So let's slide the left leg away. And then we're going to lift the leg just as high as you can while still maintaining that support for your rib cage. If we drop the front ribs down, the back's going to go, yeah? And we can see how that can cause issues and compression in the lower back. So we want the floating ribs lifted by that lovely hand muscle, I call it the fingers, and then pulse that leg up. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe. Keep the shoulder blades wide, keep the rhomboids on length. Then bend the knee. You're going to flex the foot, drive the leg up. 2, 3, 4, 5. No collapsing in the upper body. 2 and 1. The knee comes in. And then we round our spine and we sit back towards the heels. Really nice. Good. So let's change it up a little bit. We're going to lay on our backs and we're going to have our feet flat on the floor and our arms by our side. Now, when we're setting up on the floor, we can still think about those areas of the body, the shoulder girdle, to help us again feel supported in the rib cage, which then helps support the spine and therefore the pelvis. So with your hands by your side, again, think about width across your collarbone. So from the arms, they're reaching away, so there's lovely space. And don't forget, things that we're doing differently is going to feel maybe not that familiar. It might feel a little bit uncomfortable, like it's quite hard work. And that's normal. So just think about that width. We don't want these bones at the side of the shoulders coming up to our ears. Yeah, we want to keep them, that trapezius nice and lengthened for this moment. And then we're going to spread the hands out wide. So then let's bring our attention to the shoulder blades. The shoulder blades, we want the rhomboid, the muscle between the two shoulder blades, to just widen so that we can feel that they're tensioning. Yeah, so the scapula has a bit of like support. And then you let your front ribs just come down so that we're just, again, those fingers just sort of bringing you back. So as the rhomboids widen, your serratus contracts. And it's not necessarily a big movement, but it's just a widening and a softening at the front. Then we're going to take a breath in. When we breathe out, again, we can feel that widening and we can feel that connection. And I want you to lift one knee up off the floor. Can you maintain the width of your shoulder blades, the softness of your front ribs as you pick up your second leg? Good. Then we just keep that width, keep that serratus working. As soon as that serratus is switched off, we're going to get those ribs popping forward and the rhomboids bringing the shoulder blades in, yeah, because they respond to each other. So we want the rhomboids lengthened and the serratus shortened. We can still breathe. And then we're going to take a breath out and we're going to stretch one leg away. Can you still maintain that support for the rib cage? And again, wide. Good. and in. Take your hands, link your fingers and place them behind your head. Again, when our arms go out, our shoulder blades, our rhomboids can still stay wide. And we want to feel like we're just having those upper arms still sort of reaching away from the body, not pulling in. Yep, we want that width. Then we're going to take a breath in. And as we breathe out, I want to widen my shoulder blades even more and send my ribs back. So use that serratus to draw the ribs down. Then come back. Breathing out, shoulder blades widen, ribs go back. And down. And out. And down. Breathe out. Breathe in. Shoulder blades staying wide or even more widening. And in. And out. And in. And out. And in. Place the feet down and rest. Now, I just want you to think about that experience of focusing on those muscles, on how you generally feel with the sit-up. What you may notice is that we're using less of the upper trapezius and neck muscles. When we bring our attention to the shoulder blades, to the serratus and the rib cage, we can ask for much more work to come from that area, which is more designed to lift our head up rather than these muscles trying to do it here and nothing changing here. So let's have another go. So we're going to have the hands behind the head. So remember, the setup is quite important, and the awareness of where things are, your orientation of your arms and your shoulder blades. Let's bring the shoulder blades slightly, the arms slightly forward. And remember, your rib cage is curved, which is why we have the shoulder blade, the arms slightly forward. So they're following the kind of shape of the rib cage. Breathe in. When you breathe out, can you widen and stretch your rhomboids and contract your serratus? So those ribs come back towards the shoulder blade. Then take another breath in. And as you breathe out, just widen again and lift one leg up. Breathe in. And again, stabilize your upper body and pick your second leg up. Good. Breathe in. And you're going to breathe out. This time you're going to curl your head and you're going to stretch the leg away. But I want you to think of wide, wide, and back. Serratus and rhomboid. And then head down and soften. Lift by widening your shoulder blade, stretching the rhomboids and contracting serratus. Good. And in and down. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. And wrapping round. And coming in. And wrap and drop. And coming in. And wrap and drop. And coming in. Then we reach one leg. We reach the other leg. Both knees in and head comes down. Curl up one leg. Then the other leg. Rib back, scapula wide. Bend in and down. And wrap and lean. Lean into your shoulder blades. Widen them. And in and down. And out. And out. And in and down. And out. And out. And in. One more time. And out. And out. and in and down. Drop, place your feet down and open your arms out to the side. Cross your right leg over your left leg. And then take your knees to the left. And I want you to keep your right shoulder down, yeah, the back of your shoulder. So your shoulder girdle stays beautifully open, and we're trying to move the ribs to the opposite direction. And then just take your hand, your left hand, and just tap around your chest here. And pay particular attention if you go along your collarbone, and then you'll find that it's probably harder to find with this in this stretch, but you'll feel at the front here, there's lots of tissue, and that's an area that is quite often holding the shoulder girdle forwards on the rib cage. So we can just tap as we open. And again, think of that arm reaching away. So we're trying to create space at the front of the joint. But just use your other hand to tap the collarbone, tap the shoulder, tap the ribs. Breathe into that space. And then draw your ribs back. So again here, the serratus would be on a nice, like stretching around. So I want to draw the ribs back using that serratus anterior to bring the hips back. Let's go, but take them across the legs the other way. And then move your knees to the side, keeping your opposite shoulder down. Yeah, really important that we don't just let that arm come across, because the area that we want to open up is the front of the shoulder joint, yeah, between the shoulder and the rib cage. And then again, take the opposite hand. We can use light fingers, or you can use a gentle fist. We're going to tap around the shoulder, around sort of just the armpit area, onto the chest, and even all the way onto the sternum, maybe along the collarbone. Breathe. And then just draw the ribs back and the hips back. Uncross your legs, let the legs go out long, and the arms come to your side. And just actually having the hands on the tummy here might be quite nice, just to feel the breath coming deep into the body again. Stay soft in your jaw, long in your neck. And observe the space across the collarbone, this wonderful smile that comes across the front of the body.